Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Deb and I love all things indie brands, multi-chromes, and glitters. If that's something that would interest you too, then I would say please subscribe. It's absolutely free and it helps me out tremendously. So today, I'm super excited to tell you that I got the new Ace Beaute Tropical Vibes. I'm super excited for this. It's tropical, but I'm not quite sure why they call it tropical. Just saying. Because it's green and goodness, grungy. Last time I checked, tropical was like, your pink flowers, your teals, your vibrant, tropical. That's what I think of. So I'm not sure where they got tropical vibes from. There are some pops of color in here, but overall, it's pretty grungy. I'm not sure where they're getting the tropical, but it's neither here or there. It's a beautiful palette. I would have just named it something different, but I don't own a company, so who am I to say anything about anything? Okay, when I saw this, I was like, yes, please come to Mama. And so I'm going to go ahead and do swatches, and we're going to get into a look. I'm not even sure what exactly. I have been wanting to do an all yellow eye look, but I don't think this is going to be the palette. You have this one here. I guess I could do like this one here, this and this with maybe some gold. I don't know, but let's do some swatches and I'll think about it while we're swatching. Okay. Of course, it's getting cold around here and I'm wearing long sleeves, so I did not come prepared. Let's see here. So let's go ahead and go in with Mango. Beautiful. Now this is the new formula, and I did a full comparison review on the new formula versus the old formula. If you're interested in that, I will link that video down below. This one is called Palm Tree. I'm going to tell you a little bit about why Ace Beaute is kind of special to me. Some people might know this if they've been around since the beginning that I started my channel. I got too much pigment on my finger when I swatched that, but oh well. So I will explain that a little bit more whenever I'm doing my eye look. I'm going to do more of a chatty, get ready with me type of style video for this one. Okay, ooh, rainforest. Ooh, rainforest. Wow. Okay, that's a good shimmer. Very foiled. Love it. Pickle and tropical rainforest. I'm not getting the name, so I'm not sold on that. I'm not saying that is that one looks patchy, but I do not judge swatches by patchiness, only on the eyes. So there's that. It looks better even swiping it twice. Not sold on the whole theme. Okay, Palawan. There's Palawan. It is staining my finger. Olive. It's okay because this girl is not afraid of a pigmented shadow. I actually prefer it. Oahu. That's beautiful. Loving that. Jungle. I don't know how I'm going to try to do anything other than green with this the first time around. Jungle. That's the most special swatch I've ever seen in my life. That's okay. You get the point. Okay, Army. What does Army have to do with the tropical vibes? Like, I guess there is an Army base in Hawaii, so I guess there you go. You're reaching. Okay, you're reaching. Okay, there's Army. Loving that. Oh gosh. Yeah, I knew that this had to be my palette. Safari. I even don't mind this orangey, burnt orange color at all. Okay, Safari. Oops, I accidentally touched there, so that's where it'll go. And I do like that. It has a lot of brown to it, but it looks orange in the pan. I mean, it does look orange. It just doesn't pick it up as much on camera. National Park. All right. Okay, so National Park, greenish gold. Like that too. Not a gold fan, but that greenish gold I do like. Okay, chartreuse. Love chartreuse. Like a neon yellow green. Yes. Okay, looks like it's good pigment. The last Ace Beaute that had kind of that same color, it just was like, it was sheer. I could not build it up. So I'm interested to see what that maybe looks like on the eyes with this look to compare. Ooh, Seychelles. That is a gorgeous. Might have to do a yellow teal moment. And then Cave. Cave is interesting. Kind of looks black, but it's not. I would say dark cool tone brown with a grayish tone to it, and maybe a hint of purple too. So there's all the swatches of the palette. Gorgeous. Not disappointed whatsoever. But like I say all the time, is that even though I'm impressed with the swatches and I love the colors, we have to put it on our eyes because we don't know nothing until we do. And things can change quickly with the palette whenever you start to put it on your eyes if it doesn't perform correctly. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and get my eyes primed, and then I think I'm going to try to incorporate yellow and the teal together. So I'm going to just kind of not overthink it and get this on my eyes and get into this look. I'm priming with the ABH eye primer. I'll just chit chat with you guys, and I think that a good story would be sharing with you about Ace Beaute and why I own every single palette, unless there was a palette that I missed, like in a BoxyCharm or something like that. But the reason why I have, it doesn't bend all the way back, so if that's important to you, it's not one of those palettes. But I feel like their packaging has maybe gotten they've stepped up their packaging a little bit. It seems a little heavier, and this part in here that holds the shadows seem a little bit more dense, and so they may have been making a little bit of changes to the packaging also. So very pretty palette. Okay, so before I started my YouTube channel, I guess I should go back even further. I have always been very into makeup, into hair, into clothing. So that is something that has always interested me. I'm going into Cave. And when I started really getting into makeup more, at the time, I was disabled and just my life was changing, and I was in a wheelchair and I wasn't able to go very many places by myself, and I couldn't get into too many places unless they had automatic doors. My life was changing very rapidly, and there was a period of time where it just got kind of lonely. I didn't get invited to go places anymore. It's like people just didn't know, like I couldn't go over to people's houses because I had to get a lift system just to get into my house. I could walk, but I couldn't go upstairs, that kind of thing. And so there was a period of time where I really got into the makeup end of things. And I really wasn't even aware that there was like this big old makeup community on YouTube at the time. And I started out kind of watching Nikki tutorials and Jaclyn Hill and stuff like that. That's who I started out kind of watching. And one of the, I'm not even sure where I had heard of, now I'm in Safari, where I had heard of Ace Beaute, it might have just been, oh, I think I saw an ad and I was like, oh, that is so pretty. And so I bought the Slice of Paradise collection. So it was, the 4 palettes, the purple, the pink, the green, and the blue. And that's not the colors that are in them, but they have the different palettes and everything. And so this is probably like 2.5 years. No, it's probably like 3 years ago. And so I didn't have my channel or anything. And I bought those and I was like, I was used to drugstore makeup. That's what I wore, was drugstore makeup. So I got a hold of these palettes and I was like, oh my goodness, like, why isn't anybody talking about these? And so I went on to YouTube. I'm going to go into khaki. And so I got onto YouTube and I was like, I started Googling or, searching out Ace Beaute, and there was like no videos whatsoever. No videos on Ace Beaute. And I was like, why? Why all these brands out here and nobody's talking about Ace Beaute? I would go on some of these bigger channels and stuff like that. Like I would go on, at that time I watched like Jen's beauty reviews or whatever. And I'd be on her live stream and I'd be like, everybody be talking about brands and stuff. I'm like, has anybody ever tried Ace Beaute? Here I am. I didn't even know it back then. I didn't even know the term indie brand back then. I didn't even know what that was. Here I am going, hello, does anybody know Ace Beaute? Pretty much. Like, why doesn't anybody talk about this brand? This is amazing. Have you tried it? I'm like asking people. And nobody had. And so when my husband was like, you'd be really good. Why, you watch these videos all the time. Why, you'd be really good at it. Why don't you do it? And I'm like, no. And he's like, why not? And I'm like, it would be so awkward to sit and talk to myself. Like, I know I could not do that. Like, I'm not a show person. See, like Marty, he used to sing and he used to sing on stage and stuff. And so he's used to being a show person. And I'm not. Like, kill me now if you put me on a stage. Kill me now. I literally shook like this the whole time we had our wedding, and it was in our church around people we know, and half of them were gone on a ski trip. And it did not matter. The whole time I was on stage, I did this with my flowers the whole time. Like, it was awful. And so I can't stand to be up in front of people. Like, it's terrifying to me. And so when he was telling me to get on the internet and talk to people and talk to myself, I was like, no, like they're not going to like who I really am. And I can't do what these big YouTubers do. Like, I can't, put up a script and, and go through and just kind of be like, or be, something I'm not. Because even now, there's things that Marty says to me to help me along in the, being able to be up in front of people and entertain. I can't do that. And so I'm just like, I have to be myself or I can't do this. And so I'll tell him, he's like, well, I think you should do this. And then I'm like, no, that's not me. Like, it will never happen. So that's just the way I am. And so I said, no. And he's like, why? And I said, because I cannot just sit there and have a conversation with myself in a camera. And he's like, oh, but you should just try it. And then in the process, I am on YouTube. This is a long story just to tell you about Ace Beaute, but stick in there. I am on YouTube, but I also on Instagram. And just so happens, I start following some, makeup brands and stuff like that. And I stumble across Glamburger, which Glamburger happens to be Danielle Gertzenberger, which is also happens to be my cousin. And I was like, I look at her page, I start following her on her page, and I'm like, you have a YouTube channel? And so we start talking, and I start following her YouTube channel, and we start talking, and she's like, yeah. And I was like, it's so funny because my husband was just telling me I should start my own YouTube channel. And she's like, you totally should. And I'm like, no. And I told her the same thing I told my husband. I'm like, there is no way. And she's like, Deb, you could do it. You could totally do it. So she sent me, she entered me into a giveaway. And I don't know if she even remembers this, but she entered me into a giveaway, or it was like, I think the theme was, somebody that you haven't seen in a really long time that you'd want to like send a blessing to or something like that. And she entered me, or I don't remember the details. It was something along that lines. And I won. And so this bigger YouTuber sends me this package, and I get it. And I think Danielle said it. I'm not sure. But I think she said, why don't you film opening it? But my eyelids are a little dry, so we can't hold that against the shadow. Just right here in the corner. But anyway, so it was, I'm using chartreuse. I need to talk about shadows too. And it's kind of like the other palette where it is see-through. It's sheer. It's probably a little bit better than the other palette, which is the green reformulated Oceanic palette. So the shade that's in there, that's like the chartreuse, I would say is probably a little bit better, but it's not going to build up to be a solid color. It's at least not, it's just more sheer. Okay, so back to the story. So at this point, yes. So what I said, okay, what I'll do is I will film opening this box and I'll send it to you on YouTube, but like unlisted. So only she could see it. And that's what it was. Nope. I remember now. Okay. So what happened was I got that box and I was opening it, and my phone would only record for so long to be able to send her, like you can't send a video that's super long through phone. And so I was like, how am I going to send her me opening this if I can't only but do a minute or two on sending the message? So I don't know if it was my idea or her idea or what, but I ended up filming on YouTube and sending it to her unlisted. And so I was unboxing. So that was my first unboxing. It's still unlisted. It went just to Danielle. And then after I did that, I'm like, okay, it wasn't too weird to talk to her, and she's just like, Debbie, if you do it, like we can do a collab or whatever. And, I'll introduce you to people or whatever. And so, so I did it. I finally did it. And the reason why, it was so incredibly cringeworthy, like so cringeworthy. My first video was, I was so nervous. But all I did was I went on there and I swatched my Ace Beaute palettes. That was my first video. Because I still was like, why isn't anybody talking about these palettes? But I can honestly say my love for indie brands was before I started my channel, because I didn't even know the term indie brands, but really, like that it really got to me that people weren't talking about this small brand that was way better than anything else I'd ever tried. I say I used only drugstore, but not really. I was starting to dabble in Urban Decay a little bit and Bare Minerals. And then, when I got into YouTube and stuff, then I got like the Jaclyn Hill palette and stuff like that. So, not completely all drugstore, because at that point I was venturing out and getting more interested in these other brands. My daughter had some Morphe palettes and stuff, and so that's kind of where I started out. But so far, so good. I'm liking it. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the blue right in here, and then I'll probably put a little bit of this rainforest down in the crease, but let's just play around. Let's see. I like using my finger. It is going to be a little bit more difficult, but I do like using my finger because it gives you the full payoff. So that is pretty. Yeah, so that is where my love of indie brands came from. Is Ace Beaute was the start of it all, and it kind of gave me a little bit of a driving force just to do it. So I'm like, okay, why aren't people talking about these small brands that are, creating this amazing makeup, So yes, it does have an affection to me. This brand does. So therefore, I probably will collect every single thing that they come out with because of the memories, unless they really change and go downhill. So let's hope they don't. I wasn't too happy about the reformulation because one of the things that I absolutely fell in love with them was because it was so pigmented, and I had never seen anything like that before. And it looks so beautiful. So if it is the pigmentation that they're changing in these palettes, then I might not like it as much. So I'm hoping that, I don't know, they're still in the tweaking process to where maybe not, having these sheer shades it doesn't draw me to the palette as much if you're it's good for beginners or somebody that just likes a wash of color, but somebody that really likes color has a hard time dealing with palettes that are sheer like that, because just like this color, like I want that to be pow chartreuse, but it just translates hello. Now, if I put it over white base, there is a possibility that will pop, but you shouldn't have to do that if it's pigmented. You know what I mean? Okay, so now I'm going to just kind of go back in and put a little bit of more blending with a little bit more of the colors up in there. But yeah, so far the quality I am enjoying. Probably my only complaint is that I don't understand the name of the palette. That's a pretty good complaint if that's the only thing I have to complain about. Okay, going back into Mango. I got this in the mail and I was sick and I was just like, oh, I want to play in these colors so bad. So today I started feeling better and I was like, we're going to do this. I will pop off here, do underneath my eyes and the rest of my face, and we'll talk a little bit about what all I use on this face to complete this look. I'll see you in a few. Okay, guys, this is my final look. I love it. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about how I finished out this look. I love this palette. Love this look. I knew it. It was love at first sight. When they first showed it, I was like, oh yeah, that's going to be coming home with me. Love at first sight. So off camera, I am using the Flower Get Real foundation, and it is a serum foundation, and it is in natural beige. That's all over my face, and then I put in the places usually here, 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 and here. I need a little bit more coverage, and so I go in with the Tom Ford foundation stick, and I just kind of put it in those areas. And then in the waterline, I am using Lucky from Urban Decay, just kind of like an orangey copper eyeliner for the waterline. And then underneath, I did use a different shade underneath. I used Oahu. I used that, and then I buffed Oahu out with Khaki underneath to kind of give it a little bit more sheer look to it. And then for highlighter, I am using the Danessa Myricks highlighter palette. And at first I wanted to use Golden Eclipse because at first I thought this was like a gold highlighter, but it actually has it has gold, but mainly reddish orange with a little bit of gold, not much. And so I was like, that's not really what I was looking for. I was looking for more of a gold. So I used Spring Equinox over top of that, and it really brings more of that color. It's a greenish green, or Spring Equinox has a green gold shift to it, and that's what I was looking for. So I put that over top of it. The mascara that I'm using is the Black Magic from Ico. And for my lips, I custom made these lips. I kind of custom designed this lip color. I was kind of wanting kind of a mustardy. I thought, ooh, it'd be nice if I had like a mustardy yellow lip. I've never had one before. So I decided use the Curst Kosmetics in Elemental. It kind of has that, it's a warm color, but it has a lot of orange tones in it. So it reminded me of the color that I put up in here, Safari. Then I was like, you know what? Let's just try this. I didn't know how it was going to turn out, but I love how it turned out. So I'm not going to ever wear this by itself. So I know I want to mix it, and so, or use it as a liner. So I put that in with the orangey brown, and I love that ombre look that it gives with that orangish brown green all together. This is a beautiful look. I love it. I love it. And so yeah, so you guys tell me down below, did you order this palette? Have you ever used any Ace Beaute? That's what I would like to know also. So let's have a conversation down in the comments section, and I would love to read your answers. And I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope that you guys all have a blessed day. Take care. Bye-bye. Give you my heart.